Hello, I'm here with Peo Strömberg at the Malta Blockchain Summit, and we're having a conversation about Hedera, Platin, and blockchain in general. So, Peo, how are things going at Hedera, and where do you see the role of Hashgraph as blockchains develop?
Well, Hedera is a pretty new standard. We're using a kind of novel technologies, so it takes time to get people to realize what you can do with the next generation of the distributed ledger technologies. It's not a blockchain; it's a DAG. We're using our consensus protocol is totally different from what's available on the market now. It's a gossip protocol with a virtual voting algorithm to make sure it's fast, secure, and scalable. So we handle more than 100,000 transactions per second, and we are asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance. So it's there's no other platform available on the market today that can achieve both being secure, scalable, and have the speed that we have right now. So I'm happy.
Well, as we were discussing, Platin has its own blockchain, and we need that kind of throughput and performance. And DAGs are certainly the way to go because they're smaller. In our conversation, we started talking about sensors. So you had some background in sensors?
I used to be head of innovation at a Swedish IT company before, and I was working with the Swedish railway industry, identifying some really serious problems they have, and it ended up with solutions that transform the vibrations into energy to feed sensors that were placed on wheel bearings on the train, so we can start monitor when the wheels started to vibrate too much and getting too much heat, so we could take those wagons out of traffic and fix them. That's the whole start with me getting to know about the whole sensor industry, and from there on it's been just a wow experience, and the combination of the next generation of sensors with DLTs and with AI, it's an amazing future that we see.
This is why we decided to have this conversation, because when you describe that sensor as, first of all, doing local energy harvesting from the movement of the train, and it reminded me of the incredible evolution in sensors happening today. Sensors are developing at such a rapid pace, it's like a kind of Moore's law of sensors. We're going to see radio proximity accuracy to millimeter level. We're going to see sensors actually as a roll of tape. You described a sensor that would just be like a roll of tape that you could apply to something.
I mean, you can, what actually being doing right now is you can have a sensor here in the fabric, and you have energy harvesting from this light is enough to feed the sensor. So you can start developing proximity when it comes to security. If you have a machine in a closed environment that is getting too close to it, a warning signal pops up in the machine, and you never have to install a new battery, things like this.
Amazing.
And it exists today, so it's nothing. The only thing is people don't know about it.
Yes, people don't
but
know
you do.
about it. Yeah,
you do.
I saw this as a conversation, not really. And so perhaps you have some questions about Platin and proof of location.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you look at the global scale of identifying land deeds and all these kind of real crucial questions to start, the whole developing world needs assurance of owning land, and identifying this is of course, I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars in value when you can start putting an exact geolocation on your land, and it would be the biggest leap in 100 years if you could make that happen. And I think that if you can explain a bit more of exactly how your technology works, it would be really interesting for me to understand.
Great. So the main insight of Platin is that the smartphone is what's behind our transformation today. So running on a smartphone, Platin can do a secure proof of location. We do this by 3 independent security oracles. The first is sensor fusion, and that's why we started the conversation based on sensors. So everyone today thinks of GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, but as you're pointing out, the built environment will become full of more and more sensors all the time. And we include in that also IP sensors. So for example, there's a new system by one of our scientists, which is called CPV, where just by using servers in hosted cloud locations, we can narrow down your IP to within 400 kilometers. So all the VPN tunneling that everyone's used to and everyone's accustomed to thinking IP is not viable as a secure proof, that's falling by the wayside. So all of that is sensor fusion, and that's the first pillar. The second pillar is behavior over time. So we, again, anchored in the smartphone, and this is privacy preserving. So picture what you were talking about, a land registry. We're interested in knowing not just who owns the land, but who's using it, because there are big debates as citizens and as members of societies. Many societies have a robust dialogue about, well, somebody owns it, but somebody's using it, there's squatting rights, there's all kinds of activity around land, also proof of residence for banking. So picture that each smartphone is collecting through the Platin plexus a local DAG, perhaps, of its own mobility. Now, it's private because it's in your phone. But we can then query that and just say, where have you been the last week? So it's not just that you are stating, I'm at this land currently, which is sensor fusion, but the second kind of statement is an analysis for anomalies. So if suddenly I see that you transported magically from Sweden to Malta, then I would suspect that you were doing some kind of trickery. And then the third and independent oracle is peer-to-peer witnessing. So whatever you state about your sensor fusion and whatever your mobility record shows of behavior over time, the third one is that somebody else witnesses you. And this is where Platin really uses the power of the new consensus-driven insights that we have around blockchain. So the Platin plexus has motivated, incentivized people who are using it. And one of them can witness that you are indeed on this land. And witnessing can happen automatically. I think you can picture it. It could be by a signal between the phones. It could be by it observing your Bluetooth or something. By putting together those 3 pillars, Platin has a secure proof of location based on standards that we're bringing to the public.
Wow. And are you doing an ICO or what? What's the mechanism behind it, the incentive mechanism for people to start sharing and using this?
So there is a token, the PTNX, which is what we pay our witnesses and how we incentivize people. The PTNX is also involved in staking that raises the trust of certain nodes above others, and other interesting token economics and incentives. So we generated our Platin token on Ethereum, and that's a stage 1, and at some point we'll go to stage 2, where the token will be completely in the Platin plexus. And here we get back to where the conversation started, and maybe we can round out on that. When we, in Platin, we're very lucky to have really sophisticated engineers. So we looked at DAG from the beginning, we looked at EOS, and we are designing the plexus to have the most powerful throughput and the ability to sidechain. So would you think that Hedera's DAG would be a good model for what the plexus should look like?
I think that by default from day one we will support micropayments, so we have that. We will have full support for smart contracts and with everything that is standard today, and we have storage, file storage. So, and with the throughput that we have, and the fact that also that you can run a node in your phone. So you're talking about using your phone as the main point of contact.
Absolutely.
If the same persons actually are running a node in their phone, they can start making money as well, because they can just being a part of the Hedera system means that you're staking your own coins in your phone and approving transactions and witnesses transactions. So your phone can serve purpose in your solution and at the same time serve purposes in Hedera. So it's I think there are a lot of similarities in what you are thinking about and what you're planning to do that goes right hand in hand with Hedera. That's for sure.
Well, thank you for this short conversation. This Malta Blockchain Summit is really remarkable. It gave us a chance to meet. I'm sure we'll meet other people.
We had this great elevator pitch for sure. A pleasure, Lionel.
Thank you,
Okay,
Peo.
thanks.